Elements of ecosystem.
In this podcast, we're talking about 4 components that make up elements of ecosystems, which are ecosystems come in communities, ecosystems come in all sizes, biomes, and also what the difference between an ecosystem and a biome is.
Okay, so an ecosystem consists of the biological community that occurs in some local and the physical and chemical factors that make up its non-living and abiotic environment. So 3 important definitions would be types of ecosystems and communities. So a type of ecosystem can be pond, forest, estuary, grassland, ocean, sea, and etc. An ecosystem is a complex, self-regulating system in which all living things interact with each other and with its non-living things. A community is a population of different species that live and interact with the same area.
Okay. Ecosystems have communities. Definitions. Species. A group of similar organisms that can reproduce with each other, and their offspring can also reproduce. A population is a group of members of the same species that live in the same area. This picture is an example of a population. It shows a coral reef with fish species and a population of flat fishes. Okay, a habitat is where an organism lives. A population is a community, is a population of different species that live and interact in the same area. A niche is all the interactions of the given species within an ecosystem. Examples of the animals are rats, mice, deer, mountain lions, etc.
So this is a community because there's so different species interact with each other. Okay, so an example of a population would be gray squirrels. They may be the same species, but not the same population. An example would be the gray squirrel. This one group here. It might live in a pine forest, while another group may live in the next valley. These are 2 different populations.
A gray squirrel is a member of the gray squirrel species. This would be an example of a population. A group of gray squirrels living in the same area.
Okay, so here, figure 1, it's a single gray squirrel, and it's a member of the gray squirrel species. And here, it's a group of gray squirrels living in the same area, forming a population. Ecosystems in a community teaches us how populations of the same species interact with one another. It shares how the same species live in that particular area and shows their basic lifestyle.
An example of a community would be a Pacific kelp forest that contains killer whales, fish, otters, whales, seals, and microorganisms.
Ecosystems come in all sizes. Ecosystems vary widely in size. They can be tiny as a drop of water or large as a desert or an entire ocean, but an ecosystem needs to be complete. So basically what they're saying is it doesn't matter how big an ecosystem is, just as long as it's complete with all the important organisms. An example would be a single drop of water resting on a needle. That could be an ecosystem because there's bacteria and other organisms in there. And if the bacteria in the drop of water interact with water, light, and other abiotic factors, The drop is an ecosystem, even though it may be temporary.
What's the difference between a biome and an ecosystem? This would be a biome, and this would be an ecosystem. Difference between an ecosystem and a biome. An ecosystem is smaller than a biome. A biome can be made of many similar ecosystems throughout the world, grouped together. Ecosystems will fail if they do not remain in balance. Ecosystems can exist within larger ecosystems. For example, a stream could be part of the forest ecosystem because the forest, animals, or plants need the water to drink. All these ecosystems are interconnected. Even the forest ecosystem could be part of the tropical forest biome.
Okay, so here's a really important definition. Biome. A biome is a major ecological community or communities extending over a large geographical region that contains similar ecosystems and grow in a main type of vegetation. So the world is divided into 5 major biomes: the aquatic, desert, forest, grasslands, and tundra. An ecosystem, once again, is a complex, self-regulating system in which living things interact with each other and with non-living things. Okay, so here we have is a forest, but it's a temperate coniferous forest biome. But as we see, you have different ecosystems, such as the river, which contains fish that are part of an ecosystem, a river ecosystem.
This also contains many other smaller ecosystems. This would be classified as a temperate coniferous forest biome. And here are some of the websites we got our information from. And